An unknown error has occurred.
Kind of a point I wrote down in here, but we'll get to that.
Ooh,
Sorry, but-
it got real.
Already. Not that.
Stop it
but
on your
about,
points.
But about like, I wish I knew more about Asian culture because I would watch this movie and like, I'm relating it to Western culture and I don't know like what's what and like that sort of
Oh
thing.
no, there was this because the one I watched, the part, it didn't translate it apart, and I was like, I don't know what any of this means.
Oh, is it the newspapers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I was like, I assume.
Did you watch the YouTube video?
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
watched
yeah.
too.
Yeah, I was like, I assume this is bad. Also on the YouTube when I had it on full screen, the like resolution or whatever, I couldn't necessarily see every letter.
It was at the very. It was at the very,
The
very, very bottom.
bottom?
Yeah.
So whoever put that up on YouTube, awesome. However, I have one slight complaint.
Well, hey everybody! Welcome to the Unknown Air Podcast, episode 34. Yeah.
Yeah, 34
34. We're
or
not.
5.
We're in. We're
Trying to confuse the audience.
another week. Another wearing the same clothes as last week.
We just have no other
if you're
clothes.
watching.
That's the
I think
reason.
I wore this on Canada Day too.
If you're watching this,
Didn't
hi.
feel very patriotic.
If you're watching this, hello. If you're listening to this, hello. This is the Unknown Air Podcast, where every week we challenge each other to watch or check out something, entertainment, and then we kind of have the discussment, a little bit of jibba jabba.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a good word, and that came in my head, and I don't know what.
The old
chat?
jibba
Chit-chat,
jabba.
a
There
little
you go.
chitty chat about it. Kind of going through it. So spoilers, always spoiler warning because we do go in depth about these things. And yeah, so this week Roddy challenged us. If you are on the up and up and are a patron supporting us, you would have listened to last week's friendly banter where we sort of started to talk about Roddy's
Yeah.
Roddy's pick for
And I
us this
stabbed
week.
lot of
myself.
So what you
Fun anecdotes.
so what you that means is that you should. We also just talked a lot about getting old and sitting on the toilet. If you want those fun story times, you should support us on Patreon. You can get that. You can get those behind the scenes videos for $3, $3 whole dollars.
What?
You believe that? That's the second tier. But you know what? You get more than that. You get videos a week early, and also all that money goes to supporting us and make cool stuff. And we're gonna be, as the community builds, we're gonna slowly start developing more and more goodness, more stuff. It's all gonna come out.
More projects.
More projects.
Yeah.
Things
More-
that aren't just our voices.
Better production.
Well, it's nice
More
for
projects.
voices, I assume.
Yeah,
We'll get different voices. We'll hire people to do this.
we'll wear different clothes.
I
We
can
can
get shoes.
afford a wardrobe.
I actually can't afford new shoes right now.
We're like $20 shoes.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't
went
want to
and
buy
got
those
new
shoes though. That's the thing.
I literally just like was like I have to buy new shoes now.
I'm gonna have to soon.
Yeah, that was me a
You're
week
wearing, Are you
ago.
wearing sandals?
Oh, today I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like 3 years ago. I bought like 3 pairs of shoes, one for every season, and I'm still using them all. But they're all kind of going to shit now.
I mean, I would imagine. Yeah.
But
Anyway.
yeah.
Talking
So,
about our lives.
but another thing, but of course, going back to all that is, you get the podcast a week early. So if last week you were listening to us talk about Boondock Saints, you could also have been listening to us talk about what Roddy's going to make us talk about right now because you get early access. So you should go do that. But of course, introductions first. Of course, I'm always your host, Martin, and with me is Rick.
Rick, I'm Rick.
That's Rick.
He is.
This is Rick's voice, so you know it's Rick.
It's mumbly.
And it's chewy right now. And then there's Roddy.
Hey. Nasally.
That's Roddy. That's
That's not how I would describe your voice.
that is Roddy, and that is
Right
his
now
voice.
it is.
And yeah, so this week, Roddy, you got to pick something to make us watch.
Yeah. I made them read subtitles.
It's true, you did.
Yeah.
Something I would probably
Not a
normally
great font for them, I must say.
No.
no.
What was
You
that
had us watch.
Future.
Yeah, I know it was weird. You had us watch Hard Boiled,
Yeah.
which is a Jean. I was about to put some weird accent on
Woo.
John Woo.
I think he was actually he did a cameo in the film. Now that I watched it, I was
Really?
like, he was that guy with the turtleneck in the bar. I think it might have been him.
That would make sense.
Yeah. I was like,
Maybe.
he did an M. Night Shyamalan in this film. I was like, nice.
Yeah, he's like, I'm here.
But yeah, I made you guys watch John Woo.
John
Because
Woo.
I didn't know if you guys watched any John Woos before.
Oh, I've wooed.
Yeah. You would? Yeah, nice.
Once, twice, or three times, maybe.
Oh, nice. Was it like
I mean-
Actual Agent or was it like Mission Impossible 2?
One of them is Mission Impossible 2.
Oh,
But the-
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
He's like, he
gas,
does-
actually.
And then, what else was there?
Like, this is one of his more middle grounds. This is what part of me was like, oh, there's like a Better Tomorrow. There's like The Killer. What do you know? Oh, you're talking about the other
Killer.
American one? Oh, you saw The Killer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Forever ago.
that's like infamous doves. There are lack of doves
Yeah.
in this one, but that has a
There's
ton
still
of
birds.
doves.
There's lots of birds, yeah.
Still
Yeah,
birds.
birds, but
Uh,
no
I don't get it.
doves.
Was it a bird cafe? Was it like a bring
Yeah.
your pet?
Yeah,
bring your pet
those
bird
little ones
cafe?
are like, I don't know this culture at all.
I
It was.
I don't think that's a thing though.
It was a tea.
Tea
A
shop?
tea house.
Yeah, it was a tea house
where
that
you
had
bring your
canaries.
bird. If anyone has any particular information about that, I would like to learn more.
It just makes a great action setting.
It is.
Does, yeah.
And it's also it's like so fast. It's sort of like
Well, hold on there,
as
Rick.
soon as you question,
Hold on there,
as
Rick.
soon as you start questioning
Hold
the
on there,
clarinet,
Rick.
I think
Shut the fuck up. Rick, shut.
you're sort of like in the tea.
Shut the fuck up.
He
What?
throws a cigarette into the tea, and you're like, "That's wasted tea."
Okay.
Ciao.
We're gonna get there.
Gun.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Of course, this is Marty's Fact Corner about Hard Boiled. Facts. Some fun facts. Movie facts for you. So Hard Boiled, of course, directed, and the story. John Woo created the story, and then he had someone write it. I did not take down the screenwriter's name, unfortunately. 1992. It's about 2 hours long. Hong Kong. It was his last Hong Kong film before he went to Hollywood.
What?
So did
Yeah.
Mission Impossible after this?
No,
That was like so far.
no, because this is 1992. Mission Impossible 2 was
It was the aughts.
2000. Yeah,
That was a long time
yeah, something like that.
between.
It's starring. The main thing is it's starring Chow Yun Fat, which is amazing action star. John Woo is also known as the godfather of action movies. And if you've seen anything John Woo has ever made, it's very apparent why, because he is the genius with it. And it's also starring, Rodey. I'm going to take
Tony
You
Leung
take
is one
away
of them.
and say some of these things.
Tony Leung is one of them, and there's another actor in it, but I just forget his name. I just know he's in a shit ton of things.
I or the other.
No, it's the guy with the red vest, the one that's trying to make friends with him. Johnny?
The main bad guy.
Yeah, Johnny.
Oh,
I
that
think.
Johnny
guy.
Wong.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is this maybe he's Anthony Wong? Maybe.
No.
I mean, I want to say something just
his
sort of,
actual name.
sort of interesting about.
I don't know.
Because in Hong Kong movies, you'll often see the villain is like a half white guy or something.
Is he a half white guy? No.
No,
Johnny Wong?
he's not.
Is he like mixed? I don't think so. I thought he was just like paler.
That could be, but it's often like that. I can't remember. It's also in like Rush Hour. Whoever that actor is, I've seen him around a lot actually, but he's just like I don't know. He's just like it seems more Western for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Like
I
yeah,
can
just
get
like
what
a
you
lighter
mean.
complexion,
I can get
Yeah.
what you mean.
which is
I don't know.
it's weird. So I saw it, and I was like, as soon as he popped in, I was like,
He's a white guy.
that's the villain.
Yeah.
Pick him
I
up.
actually had a hard time figuring it out until I hit, I forget, like a third of the way through, and then I just started to get it.
Yeah, I really didn't understand what was happening.
Yeah,
But,
when I was watching this,
um,
I was like, "Oh, plot's not a big deal in this film."
Yeah. I was like,
It's-
am I missing something? I don't think I
It's-
am.
It's not, but it is. It's so weird. I had so many questions when I was watching.
Oh
the
yeah,
movie.
Johnny Wong is Anthony Wong. Yeah, Wait, was Tony? Like Tony Long plays Tony, right? Or did
He plays.
And-
He plays. His character's name is Anthony, but he's called Alan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But then he's sometimes called Tony, or no, yeah, Alan.
Alan.
And then there's
The-
Tequila.
the
Tequila is the best name.
Yeah, that,
Right?
yeah.
What
so-
was with that?
Yeah, so it's
And there was a,
Chow Yun
we
Fat.
got a guy named Vodka too. It's like, who's that guy?
So Chow Yun Fat plays. His character's name is Tequila. I don't want to mispronounce names. I'm so bad.
Do it.
Yun.
I don't know
Yun?
either. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yuen.
I don't know.
No.
Yun.
The
Tequila.
important thing is that you try.
His name is Tequila.
Yeah.
Which is just a thing. I love it so much.
Yeah.
It's such a
Yeah.
cool.
It's just the same thing with him and the damn toothpicks. Like that became such a thing. People just chewing
Oh,
on
yeah.
toothpicks.
Yeah.
The thing is, the problem with his name is that he's not even that drunk all the time.
No, but he lives very inhibited.
He does. Yes. Ooh,
Yeah.
clever.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
So the first thing I wanted to mention about this movie, so you can watch this movie for free. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's legit.
I don't know if it's legit either, but it's on YouTube. It has subtitles.
Kind of
so,
might be legit because
so
I feel like that.
that's
film
sort of the
company
thing we were
might
talking
not
about.
exist.
Sort of thing we were
Alright.
talking about at the very, very beginning. The subtitles are in a weird font. They move really fast. But I assume they're just trying to keep up with the dialogue, which obviously.
That's an interesting part with movies like this, where it's sort of like even scenes that are just people talking, they're still shut pretty quickly.
No,
Like,
that's
things change
yeah,
pretty quickly. So you're like,
that's the thing with this film. I had to pause so many times because I wanted to watch it so badly. I just
Yeah.
wanted to pay attention because it's literally a painting on screen of action. But then I was trying to figure out what the fuck was going on in the plot, so I had to pause and reread dialogue to be like, "See, that's who that is," and then I'd write it down, and then I figure out, okay, so he's doing that. Okay.
Oh, you guys are good. When I watched this, I was like, oh, this is just gonna be an action.
This
Like,
is-
I was like, there's
this
no
is-
way I'm gonna pay attention to
Well,
this plot.
this is also the first time I've ever seen it, so I was very curious as to, like, what it's about because I had no idea. Also, because you go to the Wikipedia or you just look up the poster for this movie,
Best poster ever.
He's carrying a baby, and I had no fucking idea why. He just has a baby in his arm, and
You find out
don't
why.
know why
that also
until
comes
later.
up a lot in Hong Kong cinema.
Baby,
I've seen 4 separate movies with baby fight scenes in them. They're fighting
comes
while
later.
holding a baby,
But that comes
saving a baby.
I mean, it's an easy way to amp up the stakes.
It's not. Yeah, no,
Just put a baby in there,
Yeah.
like, oh, shit's real.
it is real.
It gets weird. But so, Roddy, why did you have us watch this? What was your intent? What was it that you wanted us to kind of like?
I think to show something different, like not white people.
How dare you, Roddy? We have
No,
a
no, no,
long,
I'm just
proud
joking.
tradition of whiteness.
No, honestly, I did. I think because like
America.
we were coming up on recommendations, and like
No,
the
wait,
last.
never mind. You showed us that
Huh?
white. Yeah, I picked Eagles, which is white people, and then I picked Boondock Saints, which is white people. You picked Tron, which is white people, and then
Sorry.
he picked Man Seeking Woman, which is Eric Andre, so it has a black person. Then you chose this.
We got up we got up our game, Martin.
I mean,
Just saying,
I think
just
also
so
when
you know,
when
but-
we're coming up with things to plan, I thought it was a nice alternative viewpoint
Oh, no,
to
for
Boondock
sure.
Saints, because I was like, it's the same kind of almost genre, I guess, because it's the action genre,
Yeah.
and it was nice to see what 2 different worlds do, and it's a Hong Kong budget, obviously, but this was made on 4.5 million US, but obviously it's Hong Kong, so it's different money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it made
It'll
a
get you a lot more.
Yeah, as you could clearly tell how much more you can get out of the
Yeah.
money there.
and the fun, and also looking on like facts about it, it wasn't super successful domestically in Hong Kong, but then internationally in the US it made I think 4 or 5 times its budget. So
Wait, go. I mean, it's
Yeah.
good action. It's an action film.
It's also okay. Actually, one thing to talk about is the
Clarinet.
no. I mean, yes,
well,
but
we
like
gotta-
just the soundtrack is very
Saxy.
yeah. It's very like
yeah.
80s buddy cop. from the States, and you're like, that's interesting.
Well, sort of backstory is that, like, from what I was reading, is that John Woo was kind of getting flack for trying to make, gangs like the Triads and other, mafia-esque groups within Asia seem really cool. And so he wanted to make a cop film and be like, no, see, cops can be cool too. And so that's why he made this movie, and that's why he decided to make go with this sort of story, because that was kind of the influence. Was people were like, you're making killers and criminals
It's like kind of
accepted.
glorifying it. Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah,
the Triads are always the bad guys.
Yeah.
You look at these movies and you're never once like, there's got to be like a couple of nice
They're like
guys.
the Nazis of the East.
No.
That's a big
No,
assumption.
they're
I'm
not.
sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. That's a big assumption.
No,
They're not at all. I know they're not. They're just mafia.
large and prevalent organized crime
Yeah.
syndicate. That's actually in some
In
parts of the
movies.
world hard
How about
to
that?
not get involved in.
How about in movies? How about that?
That's what you're trying to like politically correct that. So
In movies. How about that? Does that make it better?
so clarinet.
Well,
yeah.
So the clarinet.
I don't know. It's just interesting. It reminded me of like Lethal Weapon. The sound.
Yeah, I
like,
could
the
see.
soundtrack.
It's that's
Entirely.
the thing about like with movies and like it's always interesting to see how different, like cultures influence their media.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm sure when this came out, like there's a bunch of like even the slow motion shooting from Boondock Saints. Sometimes I was like John Woo.
Yeah.
I was like, there's something that's happening there. I was like, yeah, that's John Woo. Because I was like, did you start this slow motion or did you just like enhance it?
It's actually something I wrote down in here once it got about like 20 minutes into the movie, as I just said, like one of my notes I wrote was like, he's just trying to do everything.
And he does.
He does. He's just trying to figure out how to tell a story in with a million different effects, and it's all great. It's like sometimes you can tell like. So we'll get into the plot. So basically,
What is the plot of the first quarter of the film?
The plot is just basically just like his
buddy gets killed.
yeah. So
Yeah,
basically,
That's a big one.
Yeah.
In
he
the first 10 minutes.
plays a police officer, and what's happening is within Hong Kong right now there is a arms race between different gangs bringing in weapons into Hong Kong or exporting them. It's never really said. It's just an arms race of different.
implied.
You know, as
Yeah.
they do. The world is conflicts. We don't need to say anymore.
And it starts out with, the very first thing you see is Chow Yun-fat playing clarinet, not actually playing clarinet, because if you watch him, he's not actually playing it. He's given it all, but you watch his fingers and you're like, you're not actually playing. None of those people are actually playing any of their instruments. I just want that to be clear.
That establishes
Okay.
that he is a musician,
if he is actually
good okay.
which is
if he
hardly
was actually
relevant.
playing it, I would have been way more impressed.
Like,
But
you could,
there's
like-
a certain point where it's just like, it should have been like, and he's just like,
It's great
holding
though.
it.
Like
It's great though.
when it
It's such
opened
a-
that
it's
scene, I was like, I totally forgot this. This is amazing. But then, like after like learning, you're like, this is an excellent way to introduce the character. And
Yeah.
then it shows his buddy cop on like the drums with him. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's an excellent way to establish the relationship.
Yeah, no, it's
like
actually
they're so
really
close.
funny.
They can do, and it's jazz. Jazz is about
Yeah.
improvising, so they're playing off one another perfectly. So you're like, you know what? I buy this. It sets up the relationship so fast.
But it
in
is
a minute.
it is a buddy cop thing. It's just
Yeah.
like, and
I want to mention something that I'm just noticing. He's a musician, but it's only sort of relevant once at the end of the film. And now I'm thinking more about it. Red Cliff, the John Woo's epic, has something like that, but it's like massive, 5-hour film, but it happens in like the first hour.
Yeah.
It's another like small detail, and that is only important at the end, but it's actually really important. But it's like 4 hours have passed, and you're like, huh? Nothing else is said. It's like you should remember that. And if you don't, you're kind of screwed.
But so, anyways, that's how we're introduced to the character.
Yeah.
He's playing
Interesting.
clarinet.
I mean, it's John
Um,
Woo doesn't over-explain things in his films.
I love that.
No,
I love it.
He really does
I
not.
love it.
He really
That's
does
it.
not.
Yeah.
It's all just like subtle. He's very everything he does is just super subtle, and you're kind of like, oh, is this going to be important? And it may or may not be. But everything is still left at the exact same level.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
this could be very important, or this could be very important. Oh wait, okay. So the thing I thought was going to be important isn't, and the thing that I didn't think is. So then we follow Tequila, who's John Infect's character, into a tea
House.
house
Yeah.
with a bunch of canary cages in it. Where I guess what's happening is a deal's going down. And Tequila notices that he has some planted officers in there. He sees a gang, and then he notices that there's another rival gang in there as well. And then fucking all hell breaks loose, and we get our first action scene in the
There's
movie.
like so many little even before that. There's like a badass detail of like he turns the cage. There's like a mirror.
Oh,
in the
yeah, I
cage.
know, yeah.
He's able to like to
Spying.
spy. I was like, what? Like little
There's a
like
mirror in the
yeah.
cage. He grabs the cage that the gangs are like trading. He throws it on the ground. He breaks it open,
Oh,
and
that
then
was
guns
so-
spill out of it. He grabs two of them. He just starts fucking blasting
Oh, that's
dudes.
so crazy.
It's just immediately just like balls to the wall action, and just everybody's dying.
It's like the first like 10
It's
like the first
insane.
10-20 minutes is just an
That's-
action scene.
Yeah, that's it.
It's just insane, and it's
How that
three.
ends is brilliant too.
It's three parties all going after each other. So it's the police, the triads, and then another gang, and it's kind of just Tequila and his partner against all these people. Everybody around them is fucking dying. Which this is the biggest thing in this movie is if you think there's realism where a cop can just kill hundreds of people, hundreds of men, just willy nilly in a fucking shootout, and go totally away with it.
There are a lot of civilian casualties.
There
in
is
this
a-
film,
There's
like
a lot of. I would love to see a count. I'd love to see a body count
The death count
of
is
this movie.
astronomically high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. But basically, there's one guy that seems to be the main focus of who they're after.
Because he's an eye patch. No, that's
No,
no,
this is
that's
before
later.
he just
Yeah.
blows the guy's head off.
No, but that's the thing. So what happens is they're trying to catch this one dude. His partner is kind of wanting to go in too quickly. Tequila bursts in the door and ducks and dives under a table, and then the bad guy is holding a dead body and then blasts his partner with a machine gun. He dies, and then it's this shootout within this like little room, and Tequila has the gunman at like gunpoint to the ground, and instead
It's
of
over.
arresting him, he just blasts his fucking head.
But like this build
then-
up to
and then-
that is crazy. Like
yeah,
like the whole thing with that, it's like he does this whole thing of like, what are you doing? Don't go in there. And he kicks him away so
Yeah.
he doesn't come in. And then even when he gets in, he like flies off, flowers up in his face, so that when he finally shoots him, the blood
yeah, I
splats,
know.
and you
It's
see it
so-
clearly.
yeah, he's just caked with his baking powder or whatever it is, or this flour, and then the red crimson is just all over him.
And
from
then
this
even
bad
before
guy.
that, in the chase, I was like, he just slid down the banister.
Yeah.
and starts shooting.
There's an upstairs and a downstairs, and they go down.
It's just like-
It's all upstairs, and then they go down the stairs, and then they go back up the stairs after the police have come in, and then the superintendent shows up, and he
It
reams.
just immediately cusses him out. He doesn't even say anything.
because instead of being like you can tell that Tequila's like, my partner is dead, and then the superintendent shows up. He's like, you killed my fucking only the only person that
Yeah.
like are basically the person that we've
Straight
been
to the
finding.
point.
It is.
Yeah.
That we've been finding for like the past couple of years, that we've been meaning
He's a
to
cop, he's dead.
interrogate
We
to try
live-
to figure out where this this gun stuff is happening within the city or within Hong Kong, and you fucking just killed him in cold blood. And so then that's kind of setting up the whole movie. And then we kind of go the first How long is it?
Actually, I can't say what happens after that.
Honestly,
what happens
well,
immediately after that?
It's basically
You get an intro to
angry.
Tony
basically
Wong.
the first
Yeah.
45 minutes is then you're introduced to the two gangs. You're introduced to
I don't think he kills the guy in the library.
you're
cool.
you're introduced to Alan, who as far as we know is just a assassin
Yeah.
or a hired gun. You're introduced to Uncle Hoy, who is the head of one of the gangs.
That's dope as hell.
And then you're introduced to Johnny Wong, who's the head of the other one.
When are we interested to Little Co? Because when you name like Little Co, it's just like
That is.
Who's that again?
he's the one that like it's the one where like as soon as you hear his name and you're like we'll try to protect you, you know he's gonna aim in for like a bad spot. No.
Oh,
It's like maybe the scene. What happens?
I think he's
to
towards
him?
the end. He's the one that get like beats up and they have to protect him.
Oh, yeah,
oh,
the
that's
hospital.
Foxy.
Oh, Foxy. that's
Foxy,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. No, so you're introduced to these
Yes.
guys, and there's a scene where Alan goes into a library, and he goes and grabs a book, sits in front of this dude. The dude tries to quickly be like, no, don't, like, I swear.
Don't murder me.
Whatever. And he opens the book, and there's just a cutout in the book and a gun sitting there. He just shoots the dude in the head.
That was shocking.
And then puts the gun back in the book, and then crime scene, Tequila shows up, looks and traces where the book is, and it's the complete works of Shakespeare, which I have no idea if that's a reference to anything. It just happens to be in
my
it.
head,
Reference to Shakespeare.
When that happened, I was like, out of all the books, Shakespeare feels like the one that would get taken out more than other books. So just like, when did that gun be found a lot more easier?
It's basically the reason why you
Well, it's
find
gonna be big enough. The
It's
volume.
true.
You know?
it's hilarious. It's really cool the way that it's edited, where it's like he's following in the footsteps of what we've already seen. But I love the fact that it's just like there's a solid out, because what happens is he shoots him in the head and the guy falls on the table, and then blood just starts pouring out of him, and then it makes the imprint around the book. So then when Tequila finds the book has blood crusted on it, and it's very clear which one it is. But so then he is starting to get more onto the case. We then see the relationship of Alan with Uncle
I don't remember their names.
Uncle Hoy, and that he's been working for him, and then that Johnny Wong, the dude that he killed in the library, was one of Johnny's like main henchmen, and so then they want to meet. And basically, what happens is Johnny offers him a deal, saying, "You come work for me, and I'll give you like everything that you want. I'll basically make you the person that you're supposed to be."
Yeah, weird portion of the film is him trying to court him to join. Basically, giving him a job offer and being like, "Do this, please.
Yeah.
Please do this."
Yeah.
All while on the cop side of it and Tequila side of it, we find out that his girlfriend, and this is where I had a question while watching this movie. I'm like, I haven't seen a lot of other John Woo films. Is there like a connected universe, and this is a story of like another Chow Yun-fat in another movie? Like is Tequila a recurring character? Because there's a weird relationship between the one woman at the precinct and him. And is that a continuation or something? But it's not. It's just their relationship is rocky, and for some reason she keeps getting sent white roses.
Yes.
And all the cards have like a little lyric on it, and the lyrics then have to do with the scale, which then is a code to a message, and that keeps getting passed to the superintendent, and it's an informant or something that we don't know of yet.
Seemed to me like it seemed like the superintendent was corrupt.
I could.
Because
Definitely.
he's getting just orders from nowhere that say stop investigating this.
Yeah. At first, I had no idea. First, I was very confused at who possibly that could be from or
And
what it was.
I mean, like that because when you figure
Also,
out,
because
you're
I
like,
didn't know.
"Oh."
Because also, I didn't know any of the relationships until much later in the movie.
I know.
Like I was like, well, wait, is the woman Tequila's ex? And then it
I
seemed
thought it was an ex
and-
situation too.
And then it seemed as though that her and the superintendent had a thing.
Yeah, that was confusing.
Because I think we were just looking for we're like, if he's an ex, where the flowers coming from? She's giving the things to him. Is he sending her flowers with the messages already?
Although
no, of course, the flowers are coming from somewhere else.
I don't think you need to think that
That
deeply
whole-
in a genre film.
That whole scene.
Well, the nice reassuring thing is you just have to wait, and it will be presented to you.
Yeah. That whole scene, what's really interesting is the moments, and this is what I was saying before, I don't remember if it was on camera or on recorded or not, that I wish I could understand a little bit more about culture from that area, because the parts where they're doing like the singing, and there's certain words all throughout the movie where they have to say it in English. I don't know if it's because there's just no other translation for it, but in that scene where she like presents it to the superintendent and he's tone deaf or whatever, and he's just like, leave, and then she's like, okay. It's just, I don't know if it's specifically something, I don't know.
They say
Anytime I spoke English, I just like, I guess they're just serious now.
I don't know.
Because when we spoke English one time, it was like, this is a fucking order. And I was like, oh, it's
Yeah,
serious.
that one.
That.
Yeah.
But there's like little things. There's which I noticed. I do not speak Cantonese, but I know a very few selection of words.
Mm-hmm.
But they say thank you in English, but they also say dolce, which is thank you in a more formal way, I think. And then they also say umgoy, which is thank you in a more casual sense.
Right.
Okay.
So they say thank you in 3 different ways. I don't know why English.
I don't know. What was I
I guess it depends on if you know all. I guess it's your relation, I guess.
Sorry, which?
Like your relation to the person, how you
Yes.
speak to each other.
So you say...
Because like I know in like Philippines, like we have Taglish, where literally it's just like a combination of like English. You literally like speak Tagalog for so long and then just finish off the sentence in English. Like it's just
That's
like
interesting.
it's just a thing. It's called Taglish, so it's a mix of both. So like it's probably maybe growing up. I'm this is just assumption, and you know what they say with assumptions, but like maybe like from my perspective, it's like growing up in an environment where it's very common to speak English, like things just get intertwined in the dialogue. Maybe
It's weird because this is the only time I've seen it though, or to this level, to a level where I was like, why is this? Is it because there's like Western movies? Is it because there's a lot of Western people living in that city? Is it because they think it's kind of chic to just like
maybe of its
slang?
time. Maybe like
I
maybe
They swear in English.
Yeah, they do swear in English. Yeah.
English is a good swearing language, I gotta say.
I mean,
seen-
yeah,
I've
it's
seen-
very strong and
Yeah.
satisfying.
Yeah. I've seen it before. I think, but what I've seen it in has been films or other forms of media that have come after this. And I think what was surprising is that I didn't expect it from this movie.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but that was the thing that caught me off guard, because then I couldn't tell. Keep hitting the microphone. I'm so sorry, people. I couldn't tell what the relationships of the characters were. And so I was kind of confused at that, because I was trying to figure out whose motivation is what. And I wrote here specifically, story beats are like sprinkles
Yeah, pretty much.
around beautiful cinematography. And then I wrote here three very specific things, which is the acting in this movie is very good. The acting in this movie is so well done. I have to say.
I love Tony
yeah.
Long. He kills it.
They're like, because like all the actors in it are like legends. They're like they've gone on to make tons of more films afterwards.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine.
And you can tell. I mean, the fact that Chow Yun Fat can play Clannette and hold a baby and make it look like good. Like,
The acting in this was very well done. The cinematography, like I said in last week's one with Boondock Saints, but cinematography is very well done when it's perfect for the story. And this is another great example of like the way that it's shot. It's interesting. It's not a specific style. It's John Woo. It's very John Woo, but it's not a specific type of like form.
I find that it follows the action. Like,
It does,
It's shot in a way that you follow what's happening, and like it's not. What I like about it too, it's just like the editing too. It's like there's a lot of wide shots. Like there's a lot of like.
I think it's definitely that, because I find it's the old sort of idea that American action is all done in close-ups because the actors that are doing it don't know how to do any action.
Yeah.
While Asian cinema, does everything in wides because all the people that are doing the stunts actually know how to do the stunts, and they want to show you the entire thing.
Yeah.
No, it's actually it's amazing to see like some like the end with the sorry to jump to the end, but this is like the most mind-boggling thing. Like, who the fuck would do that to Chow Yun-Fat? It's like the fake baby, obviously, and the whole hospital's exploding, and he's running, and he's probably like Chow Yun-Fat is probably like hitting like these triggers or something like that cause an explosion to go off immediately after he's past this area. Yeah. But like they're so close to him. Yeah, and he is just like so close to flames.
At least it really looks like it.
Yeah, and they lit him on fire.
Yeah, I think there was a scene where just a driving chase scene where like a car crashes, and I was like, the driver, I think, is still in there. Like, so
because that leads to the next part, which is a lot of like random little story things happen. Basically, but what happens is that the superintendent tells Tequila to stay out of the case. We don't know why. I think this does kind of play more to home of what you were saying, where it's like it sounds like he seems corrupt.
Yeah.
And then what happens is Foxy, Tequila's informant, finds or tells him about that there's a raid going to happen. Then we see that Alan is with Johnny Wong going to that raid, and Johnny proposes to him. He's like, at this thing, you either kill him or you kill me, and that's your decision.
That was it was like, I know
I was surprised that he said you can kill me.
Yeah, like I thought that was a good, like, even like characters are pretty archetypes, like they're straightforward, but like the whole like showdown between everyone in that warehouse, I was like, this is pretty effective. Like, yeah,
I did think though, I'm like, you can't like really that decision. If he was gonna, they play it as if he doesn't make the decision until the point where she makes it.
Yeah.
But really, he makes that decision right then, because then the raid happens, and if you were gonna kill somebody, you'd think you'd want to do it before your own gang has been severely attacked. You'd think you'd want to save as many lives as possible of your friends, instead of just being like...
From his perspective, because this then leads into the next thing that I was going to say, which is...
The secret.
If there are many examples, and there are out there, of why stunt performing needs to have an Oscar and needs to have an actual award for it, this movie is a beautiful example of it. And I know that in Age of Cinema, they herald their stunt actors. Like, if you've seen Jackie Chan's fucking school, it's like decked out, and it's all like all the people that have ever worked for that company are just like thanked for they're just praised for all their hard work. And like, but over here it sucks so bad because they do all, because then as soon as I had that thought, it went into the warehouse scene. So so what happens is the gang, I don't know what, it's Johnny Wong's gang, they show up with motorcycles and cars and stuff, and they come to the warehouse and they kill everybody in there.
Even the entrance to the warehouse, they there's a barricade of cars. They crash through the cars, drive through. It's just like,
it's huge.
There's so much going on, and it's literally like, it's like 100 stuntmen.
Also, they must have been in that one warehouse for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Because not only one action sequence happened, 2 fucking action scenes happen in the same fucking warehouse.
It uses the set well, because you think warehouse, what set pieces could happen in a warehouse, but it manages to use like so many parts of the warehouse and create action in it. I was like, it's like he throws a grenade in like a little office space. He like there's like a little door, and like it's like steel, and has to like shoot through it, and anything with the motorcycles, like when the motorcycle stunts happen,
great.
Like my mouth like just dropped at some of them.
So then what happens is, so they go and raid whatever, and they know by this point that Uncle Hoy's gang is going to show up because they heard that there was a raid. What I think then makes Alan's decision is that he didn't expect that. I don't know what his name is. I just kept calling him Eye Patch Guy because he eventually gets an eye patch. Yeah. That dude, who's a very interesting character, and we'll talk about him in a bit.
Fucking cowboy, that guy.
He just tosses a grenade at the cars coming in, and I don't think any of them expected that except maybe Johnny, except for
Right.
Johnny Wong, who like knew because it's his next henchman,
Right.
and I don't think Alan knew that was going to happen.
Okay.
So then they come in and they're like basically already crippled at that point.
Yeah.
And then it's that whole confrontation of like, if someone's going to, basically, Uncle says, if someone's going to kill me, I want it to be you. And then Alan kills him and then grabs a machine gun and kills all the rest, like as many of the Uncle Hoy's gang as he can. I guess to prove a point.
Well, it all makes
Johnny.
more sense.
It all makes more
after.
sense after everything. But this whole time,
You're like, okay, of course.
there's a scene that happens earlier though when after Tequila hears about all this stuff, and this is the thing I got confused about in the moment, was that when he was talking to his people, like, we got to get armed and stuff, and then they're like, well, shouldn't we tell the superintendent about this? And he's like, no, we're not going to tell anybody about this. I was like, okay, so then the police are going to get a drop in on the two gangs or whatever. The police do shit. It's just Tequila.
Yeah.
And that freaked me out because I was like, I thought it was going to be like a police raid. No, it's just Tequila by himself, one-man army, just drops in after this.
Is it
and you can zip line in there. And just
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
Is it
fucking...
before that where he tells, which also is the girlfriend thing, because at the end of the movie they seem quite more functional. So but he tells the superintendent, he's like, I don't give a fuck what happens to me. Is it right before he does that, or is that later?
No,
remember.
Because that's like a huge thing. I mean, and then there's his
That
friend
is-
keeps on telling. He's like, you are hard now. You are so much harder than you used to be.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's sort of the thing. It's like his thing. The whole movie is like, I don't give a fuck what happens to me. I am going
That
to
happens
do
after.
this.
That happens after the warehouse
Okay.
raid.
Which makes it weird that all of a sudden he's got like a girlfriend, and you're like, that should be at least one thing
My
that you
favorite,
should care about.
my favorite thing though about this whole like Tequila one man army thing is that when he gets in there, basically he just ruins everybody. My favorite thing has to be shotgun shooting, jumping motorcycles that then explode.
Yeah.
That is the fucking coolest stunt, and it's
Yeah, he like, the motorcycle's coming. He jumps over it, and as he's jumping, he shoots the other motorcycle midair, and it explodes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a visual.
He was loading up explosive shells into his shotgun, was he not?
I have no idea.
I liked that one shot of him sort of like brooding, just being like, fuck.
I thought that whole time I thought he was trying to like get their attention because it
was really quiet.
It was really quiet, but the sound effect was like it was cutting back between him and Alan, and he was looking over, and you could hear him when he kept loading the slugs. It was like, yeah.
One thing that was crazy for me that I didn't expect to see is when the motorcycle decided to go into the truck, and there's a person in the truck.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
It just slams him.
That's a really good one.
I was
That's a
just
really
like,
good
that
one.
happened. All
That
right,
was
cool.
amazing.
But then it cut to after it, where it's like,
The guy didn't die.
he didn't die, and then he shoots him.
What's fucking crazy is this. What's fucking crazy is this is a 2-hour movie, and this is only 45 minutes into it. We got to pick up the pace a little bit if we're gonna get to the ending.
Just go to the twist. Just go to the twist.
Well, so basically what happens is then it becomes a showdown. Future eye patch dude fucks off. He gets burned in his face. That's how he gets an eye patch. And then Alan and Tequila are then in fog, guns drawn at each other. Tequila pulls his trigger on his 6-shooter, and it clicks. And Alan has the opportunity to shoot Tequila, and then he doesn't and walks away.
Yeah.
Why didn't he kill him? And then the next many
However long
minutes?
that
I think
takes.
the part of me that was cool of the
Next-
video though was when he took out the gun bullets to show how
There was still bullets.
Yeah, that was like the fact.
No,
that
they were the shells.
they were the shells.
They
Or
were
they
the
still
empty
bullets?
shells.
Oh, the empty shells. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you well,
that would make
'cause
sense.
When
'Cause
you
Okay.
the shell isn't expelled on a 6-shooter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know guns. I just thought it was like a
Shell.
fluke that he missed.
bullet, and when you shoot all your 6 shots, you then have to open it, take out all the shells, and put new ones in. Load it.
Okay.
Yeah. What was next?
Well,
Why does he leave him live? Blah, blah, blah.
is-
And then Alan's an undercover cop.
Ta-da.
And everything
And there's a
makes
meeting
sense.
between him and the superintendent where the superintendent gives him a lighter for some reason, and it
Because it's his birthday and he's going mental.
Oh, because it's his birthday.
He doesn't actually know who he is anymore, and it's actually really interesting. But of course, it's not super explored because there's no such thing as close-ups.
Yeah.
Because he's
Oh,
actually
and then
like,
there's the whole paper crane thing too.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
paper cranes and
he's
it's
like
like,
then-
really sweet guy.
yeah.
Because basically
Then
what
he-
happens is, so he
Identity
gets the
crisis.
lighter,
I don't have time to make a paper crane.
fucking,
You make one.
Oh, they both have they bond because they have horrific shit. Like one makes paper cranes when he kills somebody. The
Yeah.
other one writes a song for everybody who's ever died.
oh, every cop that
Every
dies.
cop that dies, he keeps on
sings a
writing
song.
songs.
He does a song for them
He says
at their
that
funeral.
cute thing. He's like, I don't want to have to write you a fucking song.
And Alan's home, like his base of operations, is his sailboat. And
Which
then
is super
Tequila
sexy.
finds out where it is. They have a confrontation, and then
Eye
the
patch
very last of Uncle Hoy's gang show up and try to kill him. Try to kill them.
He actually get injured, man. He got shot in the
He gets
Yeah, no.
shot in the back with shotgun.
He's
blast.
It's just like,
He's fine. Yeah,
Sort of.
that's a really
Goes to
great.
the hospital. I appreciated that.
That's actually a really great action scene.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
the warehouse is one thing, but that's really cool. Like jumping like from the boat onto the dock and like all that stuff. Like that was pretty crazy.
It was cool because it was their first time at teamwork. So you saw them like both killing people in like a very coordinated way.
Yeah,
I remember like as soon as one guy comes up, he like pops out of like the glass thing and to shoot. I'm like, this is how do they do this?
yeah.
Like, how do you think of ways to make action not boring?
So by this time, we're halfway through the movie. Foxy, who's the informant, gets caught by Johnny Wong. And what happens in a very, very good editing is Alan then takes the lighter that he got from the superintendent, slips it in Foxy's pocket, and they're on the pier, and then he shoots him in the lighter, sends him into the drink, into the water, so that then he can live within an inch of his life because he gets the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
Find his way to
The hospital?
finds his way to Tequila.
Oh, yeah.
Tequila
Yeah.
takes him to the hospital because he's told to go to that hospital.
Super weird is.
And now we're in like the final big part of the movie, which is the whole
Which
hospital.
is at the midpoint of the movie.
Well, it's like
like
midpoint,
in the
but it's-
hospital for like an hour.
But it's
I know,
like
yeah.
just before that happens, what's really weird is that they introduce the hospital for apparently no reason. Because Alan goes to the hospital, and then he leaves the hospital to beat up Foxy. Like there is a bit where Alan is in the hospital, and then they leave the hospital, and then you're immediately back in the hospital. You're like, that's weird. It's like 3 scenes later. You're like, now Foxy's in the hospital. You're like, okay.
Wait.
Why did we see the hospital? But it turns out we see the hospital because we're going to spend the rest of the movie there.
I can't remember exactly what it is, but
Pretty much.
I imagine that's what it is. So then
I'm sure it was just like setting it up, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It was really kind of threw me a little bit.
Well, because we're gonna skip a bunch of bullshit because basically Johnny Wong's gang comes and finds out the Fox is alive, so then they're gonna go kill him. Alan says, "Oh, I'll do it," and they get there. Tequila's moved into a different room, and they're like, "Okay, we gotta team up," because it turns out that what Foxy found out is that the gun stash for the whole gang's raid, like everything, is under the hospital, which is
Poor planning from a municipal's point.
it's a really
But man, it's a
and there's
crazy
like
action.
and that there's a secret
Such
entrance
stakes.
to an underground bunker that has steel walls.
It's through the morgue.
Yeah, it's just okay.
It turns into a really weird, like most of the film, you're like, it feels quite grounded until you're like, there's hidden walls in the morgue.
Yeah.
Okay.
The ending is literally balls to the walls. Everything is thrown at it for action. Because
Yeah,
like even when
this-
they had to get to the morgue, like when he like pushes him, slides him, and freaking Tony Young comes out of there and he starts shooting.
Oh, yeah, that was amazing.
It's just like, oh my god.
I like that they get stuck by a door, though,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
a good while.
yeah. But then there's that crazy like when
Now we're
he
just
has
talking
like,
about action, and it's not going to make
No,
any
it's
sense.
great.
It's not going to really make any sense.
it's
like-
great.
like this movie is basically the reason why I chose it is just because it's just fun. It's just crazy action to appreciate stunts and all that stuff. Like you just, and the plot
There's
is,
things. There's not plot, but characters.
yeah. There's just enough to make it like bearable, like that you could justify all the action. Like for me, I felt like I was like watching like a Fast and the Furious, like before its time, because like the action sets that it does is crazy, kind of like what Fast and Furious tries to do now,
Well, this
but
was-
less, more real in its stunts.
This was a 92 movie. There were a few Hollywood action movies, and one of my favorites is, oh my God, Tango and Cash. That's what it is. Tango and Cash. It's Sylvester Stallone and what the fuck is his name? God damn it. Kurt Russell. In a buddy cop movie where the first half of the movie it's not like this, but it's has the same sort of structure where the first half of the movie is like mystery, trying to figure out what's happening. There's some weird plot in the background that's kind of weird, and the second half is just balls to the wall, fuck rules of anything. It just has crazy action that doesn't make sense. Like logically, it makes no sense whatsoever. And I think that's kind of the thing. Is like 80s, some action movies went for that kind of idea, whereas like Rambo was a big influence, obviously, where it's just like, yeah, there's gonna be a plot, but then the main part of the movie is gonna be just full of action that has its plot surrounded, but it's just to really entertain, and that's I think what this was really trying to just do, just entertain people. With
It's like
action.
enough of a character stuff, like
Well,
just enough.
I'm like way too interested in the character stuff though.
Yeah.
Like
No, yeah, I
like
can see
Alan,
why,
like holy
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Like that
But that's
movie
what-
is the Departed. Like that is the Departed. It's just sort of
because he went on to do basically what was it? He went on to do Infernal Affairs, which was The Departed.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens when you hire like good actors.
I know,
They
you're
take
like,
a small role and are able to make it wonderful.
I know you're like I care so much.
Yeah.
I care so much. You're gonna
And even like I know
crazy
we
shit.
like it's the action, but even with the guy with the eye patch, they made him interesting towards the end.
right at the end.
Yeah,
Because
they
You're
made
like,
him
so
oh, he's
interesting.
just gonna be so generic, and then you're
So
like,
where
oh man,
where are we at right now in the plot is basically they Alan and Tequila.
Thanks, man.
So Alan and Tequila have made their way to the basement. They made their way through the secret passage.
they're so tight.
There's a
right now.
door, and then this is kind of like where I think they were like, let's try to figure out how we can drag this along a bit more. Then they have to break into this door, so then they do like
MacGyver.
they do the
Well,
MacGyver
like it
thing where they empty
doesn't work.
They empty all the gunpowder out of a bunch of bullets, and then they try to blow the fuse or whatever it is. Doesn't work. So then Alan
This makes no sense.
so then Alan grabs a cable from the other side of the room and tries to short it, and he electrocutes himself. And then Tequila has a flashback to his partner, and basically realizes, oh shit, I have to like protect this guy, I guess. And then he resuscitates Alan just as the door's opening, and Eye Patch Dude comes through. There's the only hand-to-hand combat in the entire movie, because everything else is just guns and explosions. There's only
Does he kick him? What
No,
happened?
they use their
there's-
guns. They use the guns as weapons
Oh.
to try to choke each other.
Well, no,
right?
Right,
that's
yeah.
later.
Oh.
That's a little bit. That's just after that. Because
Oh.
what happens is
Does
Eye
he
Patch
do a-
Dude misses a bunch of shots, even though he's only like 20 feet away from them. And then Alan gets up, and they do some hand-to-hand combat. But then they get into the room, and that's when they see the gun stash, and they grab them and fight
Yeah.
with the guns as blunt
Does
objects.
the eye patch the guy? He did a thing where he's like holding himself up like Olympic style, where he's like holding himself up.
He
and
goes.
he lowers himself.
He goes in there.
Oh, that was
and then they
weird.
go in and
Yeah.
chase him, and he's hanging from a rafter by 2 chains,
Yeah.
just holding himself there. And then he like flips and drops off and kicks them both.
Yeah.
Which is there's two interesting choices about this character in this particular scene. One, the gun of choice when the door opens. It is a single shot thing. He has to reload it every time he shoots.
and he misses every single time.
And then that choice, which
Probably
is
because
like
he only has one eye.
you have the drop on them. You're in an armory, but you're just gonna kick them.
He could have gotten a machine gun and just blew
Those
them all. Or
two
shotgun.
things. But then it turns out he is a man of honor.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Before this, with a little bit of character moments, Tequila had his girlfriend show up, and they talked about like, okay, we need to get the superintendent here. We gotta get the police down here. I'll give you a signal. We then find out Alan was the one sending the white roses because he was that was how he was contacting the superintendent about things. So we find out that Tequila then takes one of the rosebuds or whatever, cuts it and sneaks into her pocket to basically be like, as soon as you realize that I gave this, because he says, I'll send you, my signal will be I send you flowers to get the police and get everyone out of this. But
cheeky.
He gives the signal immediately.
Yeah.
Until she figures it out.
I feel like
until she discovers it.
It might have taken her too long to figure it out, which is, he should have just told her to evacuate everybody.
Yeah.
Then you wouldn't have that crazy...
All the stakes.
Yeah.
And also a little bit of romance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even just nice heroism
Yeah.
from the cops, the regular cops.
Everyone starts following her orders like pretty quickly.
Yeah. Oh, the best scene.
They're like, what's your plan?
But
this
anyways,
is the plan. Okay.
Oh, I'll talk about. There's that one
anyways.
scene where the girl has the best scene ever, when like she gets slaps.
Oh no, I have a specific.
Wait,
thing.
wait, she gets slapped or she slaps him?
She gets slapped, but like,
I have a specific note for that. So then, Back to the Future, they're down there now. She then discovers it, so they're trying to get everybody out of the hospital.
Some dick
Johnny
administrator's like, nah.
Yeah. Well, because he's obviously working with Johnny Wong.
Yeah.
Or
no. Or
well, I don't know. Or he's
I
just
think-
a shitty administrator who's like, this is going to reflect badly on me in the future if I follow these police people's orders.
And yeah, this is where she turns into a really great character. She just goes out, pulls the fire alarm. Yeah. She's like, by law, you have to evacuate everybody out of this building. And he's just like, oh, shit. And then Johnny Wong's like, yeah, okay, let's just take this entire place hostage. And then they fucking start killing everybody.
Just start killing people.
And then blowing up
people.
all the cars outside. Anyone that goes outside, they have gunmen outside the windows just shooting everybody.
It's insane.
It's
they
terrifying.
lock down the gun storage and they start putting smoke into it.
I like that there's like 3 little cop stories
Yeah.
in there where the cops kill the gunman and hide out with a bunch of hostages in a place, and they're like, "I will fucking protect you. I'm a policeman."
There's the dude inside the room with the surgery people.
Yeah.
And he has them all behind a curtain. He's hanging behind a piece of equipment. There's the people at the bottom of the stairs.
But that makes a lot more sense now when you talked about him wanting to glorify cops now. Like it showed the little heroic details. Like there's that one scene where like he got angry, like one of the bad guys got angry at like some woman, and then the cop like jumped in to push her. So she didn't get shot.
Yeah.
Like it tries to show like their heroism.
Yeah.
It's a hard word to say.
So
racism.
my exact notes were entire hospital hostage. This is fucking crazy. The babies, and then I wrote 2 dudes just sitting in a bunker talking about life while hundreds of people are hostage. Because then he's like, "Where would you want to go?" I'd want to go. Or do you have plans? I'd want to go to Antarctica. Why? It's so cold. Well,
to build up the ending, man.
So it's just this super touching moment between these 2 dudes when it's like.
Well, they're stuck again by a door.
They are stuck down there.
Yeah.
And it's this character building moment where it's just like, we're just 2 dudes sitting down here, we're stuck. We gotta try to find a way out of here, man.
Save the world. The babies thing was really weird because
It was cute.
they also do that. They also like introduce the babies quite early.
Yeah.
In the hospital, they're like,
because it's
when-
showing stakes.
maybe that's what they did because that's actually when Alan goes to the hospital. That's when you first see the whole baby room.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're
I
right.
liked how they were thoughtful and like, let's put the cottons in their
That
ears.
was really cute. And it probably took them like half an hour because there's like,
I was like
50
that's
babies
so
in
many
there.
babies.
So then basically what happens is Alan and Tequila get upstairs finally. A whole final fight happens where they're just going floor by floor, just trying to kill everybody in there, trying to find fucking
it's
Johnny Wong.
exquisite. That the
And
thing,
then-
the continuous, the no cuts. The continuous thing is actually really funny because they didn't quite nail it.
On what
Like they
part?
didn't quite nail the timing of it, so you'll see, like there's a chunk that's just in one take,
Yeah.
but you'll see little bits where they slow a little bit down,
Yeah.
and it's jittery, and then there's bits where they'll speed it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, this is incredible,
Yeah.
but the
Did you notice
timing
it?
wasn't necessarily like when they got finished. It was like,
Yeah.
ah, shit, like this is like a second too long with no action in it.
Yeah.
They have to
Yeah.
speed up that bit.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's just fucking incredible.
Yeah, like what the scene I kind of liked is when they got into that room where like they were using the hostages as shields, but then you see all like the cops like look at each other like giving them the nod that they'll like push them down.
Oh, that's
so they can do
when
it.
that's when Alan gets dressed up as one of the fake officers.
Yeah.
And brings Tequila in.
Yeah.
And then he just like kicks Tequila forward. He pulls out from his coat a shotgun. Everybody drops, so it's just all the gunmen, and then they all just open fire.
I thought it was a good scene.
Yeah,
I
that was
yeah.
really good. That was a good reveal into like just them going room by room, killing everybody.
Yeah, there was like surprisingly like crazy character moments, like when you get back to the guy with the eye patch, when
Which
he
is what
finally
my
had-
next point.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like when he got that final showdown, it was like that was actually like that actually
I mean,
hurt.
like the huge.
No, there was that scene where like it was just
Earlier-
him and Anthony, Tony or one of them, Alan.
Yeah.
And then like
they are just fighting each other.
Yeah,
because
and then-
While
earlier-
he's going to save the babies.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
yeah.
earlier-
Tequila's going to save the babies.
Because earlier, randomly, he says like I think they're in their like monitor room or whatever. He says to Johnny Wong, he's like, "You can let all of them go. Like these innocent
Yeah,
people don't
yeah.
need to be killed. We'll just look for these two and kill them." And he's just like, "I don't fucking care. I'll kill whoever I want." And you kind of see that kind of little input. When I saw it, I was like,
Yeah.
"You've been killing so many people this whole movie, and all of a sudden you have a heart of gold." And
they
then
were bad
later,
guys.
Yeah.
Alan and the Eye Patch Dude have this epic showdown where they're going around room to room.
So huge.
Is that
Tequila-
the showdown where like literally it's like one is in one hallway
Yeah.
and the other is in a glass room?
Yeah.
And they're like
they keep on
shooting
jumping through
each
the glass
other.
and shooting and shooting.
And then
they-
he
they-
jumps out a window at the end. Oh
Yeah.
god.
Oh no.
And then what happens is they end up in a room where between them is a nurse and a bunch of patients, and they both have their guns pointing at each other, and they both slowly lower their guns, touching them to the ground, putting them down. They say, "Get them out of here." And they're just waiting for these They're just waiting for these patients to move out of the way so that they can then, like, do a quick draw. But then Johnny Wong and his gang show up, see all this, and just open fire and kill all of the patients. And then Eye Patch Dude, just like horrified, grabs a gun. It clicks. Grabs his gun, clicks. Grabs another gun, shoots Johnny Wong in the stomach, and then he just gets riddled with bullets. As trying to
It
kill
was
Johnny.
a good end for that particular villain, and I was
Yeah.
like, and I was actually sad when like there was a lot of civilian casualties, so it's still sad.
Yeah.
But that particular set of civilians, I was like, oh no, they had
Yeah,
like
that
a
was
chance.
like the most brutal.
Yeah.
So then while this is happening, I
Babies.
wish I knew
All
her
the
name.
babies.
I wish I knew her name, the character's name, because I keep saying Tequila's girlfriend because that's not who she is.
No.
Especially in this part of the movie, because
She's a badass.
earlier
Taking over.
she gets slapped by a gunman.
No, she slaps a gunman. He goes into the baby room.
Oh,
he's
no,
like,
yeah, no, you're right.
Like, stop all this shit, and she
What are
just
you
slaps
doing?
him.
No, he was like first. I think he said,
No, no,
bitch.
she.
No, I know.
What happened was they came into the baby room. They were loud. She slapped him, and said, like, "Be quiet.
Yeah, yeah.
You scare them." Then later, is the same guy shows up. She then has a gun.
Yeah.
He slaps her calls her a bitch.
Yeah.
And she just shoots him in the face.
That was great. When that happened, I was like,
And I
I was
just
like clapping.
I
That
just
was a
wrote-
great moment.
don't call her a bitch.
Yeah.
At the same time, a little like time thing is Tequila and Alan. Now that that's happened, Tequila and Alan are together again, and Alan thinks he killed a cop,
Oh yeah.
and he starts freaking out and going into his own mind, and Tequila's just like freaking at him, being like, "Don't think that." Blah blah blah. Blah. He's basically being like, "If you can't get in your own head, you can't get out of someone." Ah.
It's sort of.
And this is the
it's sort
down
of flippant.
spiral. This is the down spiral, Alan, which basically leads to what happens at the end, where Alan, so Tequila then is in charge of is helping get the babies out of safety, which
great.
the only way to get them out
Super
of the building.
precarious.
The only way to get them out of the building is to tie blankets to the bins that they're in
Baby bins.
and lower them out of the window. Several stories up, and also multiple times, I think it's like 4 or 5 times,
People shooting at
people
them?
are shooting at them.
Yeah.
People are shooting at the cops that are holding the babies, and a few fall, but no baby is ever injured.
Yeah.
Basically leaving
Also,
until...
there's weirdly just parents waiting.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my baby.
Yeah. Basically
I didn't
leading...
think that. I was like, how are they going to sort out where all these
Basically,
babies
know
are gonna
exactly.
basically leading to a point when then all of them are out, except for one, and Tequila picks him up and is holding up, and then going through trying to find the exit, because Alan then sacrifices himself into the exploding building.
And that's
now
when he has his
to
moment
try
where
to
he's
find-
like, I'm a cop, right? He has like a moment where he's like, I feel like he's judging, because he's having his whole like,
Just trying to remember. He's like, I killed a cop. Does that mean I'm not a cop?
yeah.
But
Like,
yeah, it's right after that, and he says, I think he says like, this is my not this is my moment, but he's like,
Yeah.
this is my time or something like that.
They give
Or-
him a little something before
I
he
think he says, I
runs
need
off.
to do this.
Yeah, he says
Yeah,
I
something
need
like
to
that,
do
yeah.
this or something like that. Yeah.
But he's going after Johnny.
Yeah, he's going after Johnny, and at this point, Johnny had revealed that like he's got the detonator for the C4.
Of course, he's rigged
He-
the whole hospital.
He just goes at it, man.
He then just goes at
Yeah.
it. Alan goes after him. What the fuck are you doing back there, Turtle?
What's it called?
Goes after him. Tequila then's got the baby.
That baby
going
sequence
through,
is great.
going through,
He gets
killing
shot.
everybody. He then sings to the baby.
Did he
Makes
tell the
it
baby
laugh.
to stop crying?
Yeah.
Like, did he just like shut up?
Yeah.
He tells the baby to shut up. And then Tequila
great.
gets shot. The blood spurts onto the baby's face. He wipes it off, and then he like makes it laugh.
Yeah, he like kisses it.
Yeah, he
It's
kisses
like,
it, makes it laugh. And then running down the flaming
He catches on fire.
hallway to then
That's a stunt in
Try to-
itself. He's catching
know.
on
no,
fire.
he catches on fire. I love having a baby in your arms while in a serious gun battle, while singing a nursery rhyme to yourself and shooting and killing people. Most ridiculous part of the entire movie is his legs catch on fire. He's trying to put it out while holding the
holding the
baby,
baby.
and then the baby pisses itself, and it puts out the fire on his legs,
You know what? I
and then
believe
he calls
it.
it a piss pot
and then calls it a piss pot.
and goes out.
And then he finally gets out of the building. The building explodes, basically.
Okay, that stunt. You have like your thoughts on that. I was like, how did they not get injured? It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. How did anyone not get it? Because even the
I think people
wide
do
shots
get
from
injured. I
out,
think
even the
that's
wide
the
shots
sad
from
part.
outside the building, like there's explosions coming from that building, and you can see debris and stuff. And there's easily like 50 people out standing outside that. It's like all of them had to be stunt people. Even like
Yeah.
like it's crazy.
But that
I think
final
they,
exit.
I think they try, but I think people get injured quite a lot.
But that final exit is like a piece of work. It's just like he's
Oh, God.
grabbing the electricity things or like whatever from the
yeah.
ceiling as a way to jump off, and then he literally jumps off. Real explosions in the back, not CG, and then like lands on like hard surface ground, and I'm
With the
like,
baby.
all right, with baby,
Yeah, with baby.
it's just insane.
Yep, that electric cord. I like that it didn't like swing him or anything. Sorry,
No.
it
Yeah.
was like he still falls, but it was like just enough.
Yeah.
I
He
could
can
just
land
suspend my
safely.
disbelief there. Just enough to make him land safely.
But like, I feel like
And
imagine,
then of course the parents are right there.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
my
thank you
baby,
for giving
thank you.
me- Yeah.
And
he's like, well,
then
that was-
then he finds his girlfriend superintendent. And they're there, and just like, it's just, okay, we're done finally. And then, of course, the super bad guy ending, out of nowhere. This is where I'm like, okay,
Well, out of the
we're at a whole new
exploded-
level. We're
the
at a whole new
exploded
level.
hospital.
The exploded hospital. Out steps Johnny Wong with Alan as a hostage.
Yeah.
Everybody points their guns at him. Tequila walks up with his gun, and then Johnny starts like ordering him to like. He tells him to get on his knees, tells him to slap himself,
And he does.
and he does. He's following his lead. I was like, "What is going to
bro.
happen?" As soon as I saw that, I knew exactly. I knew what was going to happen, but I just didn't know how.
That was
I
also
thought-
great. That was also great editing.
was, yeah.
Thought. But
I
yeah.
thought that Tequila was going to shoot Alan
Yeah.
so that he could just shoot through.
Right,
Yeah.
because bullets pass through people. We know this.
Yes. I thought that was going to happen. But so then he gets him on his knees, and then he tells him to take off his pants. And then Alan then just grabs the gun from Johnny, shoots himself, not Johnny, shoots himself so that he keels over. And then flashback to earlier in the movie when...
The bullet. That's the only time they zoomed in on anything.
Yeah, when they were trying to hack the door, and Tequila had to shoot this tiny little bullet that they lodged into the kind of electrical thing to make it explode. He then pictures that as Johnny's eye, and then just quick fire shoots right through Johnny's eye. Really good practical effects, too.
That was
actually.
unexpected. When I saw that happen, I was like, wait, they showed it. They actually showed it come through and come out. I was like, whoa.
Very convincing practical head, because then you see from the front of it, and you see him just like collapse downward. And then you're like, all right, well, they're all dead. And then we see the after kind of like, like moving on with their lives and whatever. And then the most confusing thing, and I want to know what you guys, what it is.
File burning?
Well, then a file burning, and it's like, okay, and there's some voiceover or whatever, and it's like,
I want to go to Antarctica.
yeah, it's the voiceover like of like what Alan could have done. And then we see paper cranes getting tossed into the water, and then we see a sailboat moving away. And I just went, wait, Alan's alive?
I did that, but I was also expecting that.
Yeah.
Because of the 90s.
I didn't expect
That's what I was, yeah.
I didn't expect that. I thought he was sacrificed, and
No,
that was the end of the story.
I thought Batman again, and he was and he's alive after sacrificing himself.
But then it made sense that they're burning his record so that he's clean, completely clean. There's no information at all, so then he can finally escape.
Yeah, there's interesting things because they burned, because his buddy died the first part of the movie, and they burned his file.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that it is established that when a police officer dies, you burn the file.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that means that he's dead. But he's not dead.
Yeah, it was like a last minute misdirect.
It was a that side of him is dead.
Yeah.
He shot out,
Yeah.
he shot out the bad bits.
Yeah. So yeah, like even though like it's the action is the best thing, there's like little tiny, like you said, sprinkles of story beats.
I love it, and actually I find that in a lot of like movies from Hong Kong in that time period. I've like in the past year I've watched like a lot actually.
Yeah.
A lot of like Jet Li movies. I had a Jet Li kick this year.
Oh yeah.
And there's some weird ones that are like, some of them are bizarre, but then there'll be like this moment of just like, whoa, that is like the most intense thing ever. And this is a lot more concise for sure.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what it is, but there are definitely parts that are like, that's a bit silly or really far-fetched. This is really grounded. That's fucking terrifying. Like that is just like trauma.
Yeah.
Over there.
Like, there's a lot of like
it's
memorable
so weird.
moments in this film. Like it was like, I can't believe it did that, or like, and like it was a good, honestly it was like a good like female, even though it was small, like the fact that they had the whole it was almost like not up to the level, but it was almost like Ripley and Alien saying, you bitch. Like I was not expecting her to just be like, not one bullet, but like several after being slapped and called a bitch.
Yeah.
He did not inadvertently, he did threaten the babies. That's
True,
really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's things
She was gonna do nothing was gonna stop her from saving those babies.
Yeah.
No.
Which is
Even
really great.
The fire.
Yeah. But this film, oh jeez.
I just love that like everything will become a set piece. That's what's very exciting about the film. Is you're like, what are they doing?
A boat.
3 of them are in a
Empty
room.
house.
This could all go to hell.
Well, it's sort of
or like babies are now a prop. This is great.
Well, it's sort of like I remember watching a while ago. It was behind the scenes for Shanghai Nights with Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson.
Oh, is there a baby scene in that one too?
No, it's the market scene where it's the umbrella fight, and it's behind the scenes with how Jackie and the director and the stunt choreographer and the stunt people are working out the fight scene in the space. And it's interesting. It's like, yeah, it's a set piece, and then they figured, because I don't know how, John Woo's action team.
Yeah, how do you get that?
How they worked it out then, but it's like it seems so meticulous
It would be
because of how action is shot now. But I wonder if back in the day it was just like a formula. Or if it was just a formula, it's like, this is how we make an action scene. Or if it was like jazz. It was just improvised.
Sorry, your face.
No.
Just when that light bulb clicked.
No.
If it was improvised in a way where it's like they know what the set piece is. They know what's going to happen story-wise. And they're like, okay, well, what stuff can we do? And they kind of just work it out. Not on the day, but they kind of work it out in the space. It's one thing.
You'd absolutely have
Yeah,
to.
I think they know the
'Cause
space and they work it from the
one
space.
thing. It's one thing to be like, yeah, there's gonna be motorcycles flying through the air. Tequila shoots a shotgun and it explodes. It's
Right.
like one thing to have that idea, but that to be
Also, just
there.
rigging, like, a practical effect, rigging up a guy's motorcycle to explode without the motorcycle
There's
exploding.
a shot where the guy and the motorcycle, both on fire, hit the ground, and we see the guy roll.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. I like. I feel like everything has to be meticulously planned.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
But
obviously.
I again back to like the wide thing. Like I like that's sort of like why I'm sort of tend to be revisiting these like older films. Even now, actually, I saw one with Donnie Young. Not Kung Fu Killer, and it was shot more similarly to like action movies that you'd see, and I'm like, this is kind of boring
Yeah.
because it cuts out what's impressive about everything, because everything is impressive in the wide when it's more practical, and when you're seeing people actually do things, when you're seeing the hand-to-hand combat pulled off, or you're seeing like all of this shit happening into space, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
But I wonder, because it must have taken fucking forever. Again, going back to that warehouse. It must have been in that fucking warehouse forever.
The warehouse is an interesting thing because it's all one giant set thing. The hospital is the more impressive thing in my mind because it makes me wonder if, like, was that a real hospital or, like, you know, a place that they turned into a hospital?
I'm assuming it's a place.
Or
that
was
turned
it sounds... Because I don't imagine that it was soundstage.
Maybe, well, I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe
the
bits.
hallway part looks like it had to be built. Like
Yeah.
the hallway
Yeah.
With the
on
glass.
the yeah.
Because they go through...
I mean,
couple-
everything just
They go,
explodes.
like, through 24 hallways.
To be fair,
And they all
it
look
wouldn't-
different.
The hallways
Like,
would have
it's-
been cheapish.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but rigging that so that it can go off, and it's like, because they go like there's a scene where Tequila and Alan are going down the hallway and they keep taking turns where one of them will post up and the other one will dive forward, and then we turn into it, and whoever posted up like shoots the other two, and we follow them for like one full take, like down 3 different corners. It's like
Isn't it-
rigging all that up, and like the amount of squibs in this fucking movie on people is insane.
Oh, I forgot the scene. Remember one when they blew up the morgue part and they come out of the morgue?
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah,
They
I'm
slide
like,
out.
They slide out. I was like,
Slide
even
out on
that,
the
I was
beds,
like,
yeah.
it takes, yeah. Even though they filmed that was cool, like smoke coming out of like these like 5 little.
I know,
open
you're
ones.
like, which one are they gonna do? It's like whack-a-mole.
Yeah,
Where's it gonna come from? I am scared. I'm fucking watching the thing.
yeah. Like I think it makes me think that like I haven't watched any Hong Kong films, action films now lately, and I feel like they're
would
probably
never.
vastly different. Yeah.
They would never.
Because this is like, I feel like where the rules were stricter, the rules have to be stricter now because of the danger that all those people put themselves in. I don't think they would go through that same danger now. I feel like it would be like illegal or something. Because there was like high risk in all of the stunts. Like,
Poor
like the last
unions. I
stunt,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tough to say.
That's cool, but
'Cause,
I
like
think
no one does that. No one will ever put themselves in that much peril anymore now because of CG.
Well, I mean, maybe except these guys.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh man, what is,
But even
is
then,
there
yeah.
any? Now I'm curious if there's any docs about like stuntmen in Hong Kong. 'Cause, like that'd be like
there
crazy.
Must be.
Yeah. because like their lives, like they must be like adrenaline junkies, like
I
and,
don't.
like pyro stuff. They know
I think
as
they.
well.
For some
reason-
reason, Jackie Chan did.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do it anymore.
Well, no.
Obviously, like age and like,
Well. I mean,
don't
like,
know if it's necessarily
he was a stunt
like-
man.
Yeah.
yeah.
before.
But he put himself through like he physically broke so many body parts and like
Yeah.
probably almost died, probably crossed and came back.
For the love. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But,
Hopefully
like,
for the
no one
love.
does
For
that
the
ever.
money. He's
Well,
also
I
really
don't-
good at singing.
yeah.
I don't necessarily know if it's a adrenaline junkie thing, because to me it seems, at least from the outside perspective of that industry over there, that it is
Honor kind of thing.
it's an art,
Oh, okay.
and that it's like, it's not just like, stunt man, oh, fucking, I'm just gonna do this thing, because like a rule on set, like, you know, we have done different things in film.
A stunt. I get too worried.
A rule. Well, no, I'm saying the general rule on a set is that anything more than walking can be a stunt.
Mm.
And it's technically true. Like running is a stunt.
Yeah.
Technically.
Roll an ankle, you're done.
Yeah. So, like, the way that it's kind of taken over here is more of a management sort of thing, where it's like, he will do this at this time, and it's like kind of drill sergeant-y in a way, where it's like, this is the stunt performer, he is going to do this, safety precautions everywhere, we have to be on the money with all this stuff. And at least from these movies from the 80s and 90s over there, it seems as though the industry was definitely more of like, these stuntmen are performers. It's kind of like Cirque du Soleil, but with on steroids, with fire and squibs.
I guess to change it, it'd be like, it's a love for the art of like stunts and like that.
Yeah.
I guess there's a lot of passion in it.
Because the action movies from, you know, that era and area is just, it's amazing what they
It's
are
of
able
its
to
time, and you will never see this again.
No, I want to make them.
I
It'd be
would
so
love
fun
to.
to make an action sequence.
Of that caliber.
Well, it would just be fun to make an action sequence that was one iota as good.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just interesting to be like, it's a thing that is so important to the film, has nothing to do with story, sort of. You're like, they have to physically go from this place to this place.
Mm-hmm.
And how we're going to get there is all fun.
The warehouse scene is literally 20 minutes.
It's long.
The hospital is an hour.
And the hospital, the
Yeah.
entire hospital is an hour. The stunt.
I mean, there's scenes, again. The
Yeah.
story sprinkles.
Little sprinkles, but like it starts fast.
Yeah.
Like I remember, like, I can't believe, like, this is technically like the third act, and I'm like, it's an hour of just like, and the reason why it's a prolonged third act is because a large chunk of it is just action, and I'm just like, damn.
It's action with, it's like 5-10 minutes of action, a little bit of story, 5-10 minutes of action, a little bit of story, and like that's the way that they do it. Is it's just like,
And there was some gore. in it.
do. Let's give it some.
Like they shot a guy,
when-
and then there's like a piece of neck wood when he like flipped, landed on a piece of wood, and like you saw like some like neck gushing, not gushing, but like something protruding out of his neck.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's more graphic than like a gunshot that they kept on showing.
It's pretty edgy. Like the swearing and that, but also like when Foxy died, he got his throat slit.
That was, and it did like
You know,
splatter
as a
across.
close up, and you're like, oh no! Like it doesn't show in the close up, but you're like, oh no, the knife, and then it's just like, yeah, it's just like a
Splatter.
fucking spray.
Well, it
You're like,
hard
whoa.
cuts to inside of a room where
Nurses.
there's a nurse and a patient who don't notice the giant on the window,
fucked.
and then what's even okay, because this was the kind of moment where I went, wait, what's happening in this hospital? And then later I realized, oh, it's the gang dressed as cops.
Yeah.
Because then it comes back and someone's like, what happened here? And they're washing the blood from that. And they're mopping and they're just cleaning up. And they're like, nothing. It's more comedic in that sense. But at the same time, it's like, ooh.
This is
Because the big thing about this whole movie is again, we said at the beginning, body count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
can't happen in real. This would never happen in real.
No.
For this episode, you should put a little, because I feel like Hard Boiled is not something that everyone has watched.
Yeah.
Unlike Boondocks. So I think you should put a little thing that's like, I don't know, maybe you'll watch this before you listen to this.
Oh yeah.
It
Well, it's always-
feels like a discussion that if you've definitely if you've seen it,
Yeah.
you can be like, oh hell yeah. But
Well,
then
like
again,
it's one of
We
the
always
ones
do
that I feel
spoiler.
like I think
That's
You
true.
need to watch these. Yeah. Like
'Cause,
if
like-
you have not seen them, whenever we talk about movies or TV shows, you have to watch them.
like the reason I chose it.
There's a reason
too-
why we're talking about
it's so
them.
exciting. It's so
It's
exciting.
either
to see
it's
this
either we
film.
really like something or we really hate something, but it's still great to watch.
But it's also nice to know that you watch like the killers, because like for me, I know it was something that I did with like my cousins, but I was wondering like because it's subtitled, because I know so many people that won't watch films because it's subtitled.
It's bullshit.
But like
Janet
there's a lot,
Jazz.
but there's a lot of people that won't watch it, so it was nice to know they watch the killers. And the reason why I chose Hard Boiled is just like it was nice to see a different action film and like see what they could, how they're like every country does genres differently, right? So it's
Yeah.
nice to see like when like Hong Kong does action, they go crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's balls to the wall everywhere. Like when you think of action films that people love now, the intensity, like the style is different and beautiful, but the sheer like realism and intensity of like a Hard Boiled is just like uncomparable to what action films you see now. Like Mad Max is beautiful and it's an
I
action
saw
of its
that
own.
recently.
Like
Finally.
it's like beautiful, but then it's different in comparison to like this. Yeah.
That's another great
Yeah.
movie where it's like, because I remember when Fury Road came out, that was a big thing afterwards where they said stunt people need to be recognized at the at award ceremonies and at the Academy
Yeah.
Awards because in that film almost all the actors are stunt actors.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
they're
there's
explosions on
actors.
cars and fucking all this other stuff, and it's like it's insane. It's so insane.
No,
and,
it's
and,
nice to
and
know
this is
that.
this is a great movie.
It's people
I don't know if that was just Mad Max because it was Mad Max, but that really did feel like a more 80s movie. But that could just be because Mad Max was like 80s
I
stuff.
think it's
But I'm
because
like,
it's
got the feel. It's got the I don't even know what it is because
Well,
it's like
because
it's all modern. It all looks new. It all looks
Yeah.
great.
well, it's
There's
George,
something else to it.
It's George Miller. He did the original Mad Max movies. It's his universe. It's his tale. Yeah, it's because if you watch the original Mad Max Road Warrior, or just Mad Max and then Mad Max 2 Road Warrior, there's a huge difference, and because one was in the 80s,
Yeah.
90s, and then now, huge difference, but the feel is still there.
That's the
But-
thing. I feel like he could bring that to any
Yeah,
action film set in any time or place, and there's something. It's something that I want to. Like, that's why we study films. That's why we
Yeah.
look at shit. But having that, I don't know what it is. I want to know what it is.
but yeah,
And same with this stuff, where it's like I want to see an action movie that reminds me of, 90s John Woo stuff.
Oh yeah, I would
You
love to
don't
see
get that.
something like this. Like the
I don't think
Yeah.
it will happen, though, to be honest. Like,
It's
I
gonna
don't-
happen, Roddy.
It's just the amount of effort and
We're
time.
gonna
and-
fucking do it, Roddy.
I don't even know how to do it. Like you would
I
have
would
to
love
find
to.
them again. You
I
would have to
would
find all
fucking-
those people that did that and be like,
Well,
"Yo,
not-
are you still doing this?"
You see, I don't think. I think you'd have to find people like
Or
us
that
who
love-
are in awe
Yeah.
of it,
yeah,
but haven't actually
it's
had
also
that
to-
much experience.
But
doing
also
it.
to like the thing is like because you don't find these films on Netflix.
No. Why?
Yeah, like I don't know, but you can
Right.
find them on YouTube.
Right.
So
Right,
I think you
yeah.
could probably find all of John Woo's films on YouTube. Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I
man,
had to steal
great,
Redcliffe.
great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
just
want balls to walls action? Just watch this.
Yeah.
You don't need to pay attention to the story. We basically explain the.
But if you
entire
do,
thing.
you won't
Yeah.
be too sorry.
no,
I mean, like,
yeah.
it's
that one
it's a compelling
scene.
cop story.
What do you
And I
guys
think
think?
that's
That car scene with the papers. What did they say? Like I had.
Oh yeah, we said that at the very beginning. We didn't mention. Yeah, that's. I think
something about a butthead.
I don't know.
Well, no, I
Butthead.
I think at that point it was about how.
I don't know. He's probably corrupt or something. I was like, well, it's gotta be bad.
Well, it was
He's
about,
visibly upset
It was about
now.
the gang, so I think it might
Yeah.
have been that one of his main members was killed, or something like that.
Yeah, that's the only thing tricky with subtitles. When it misses translation, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
what did that say?
Yeah.
Really hard to tell out of context.
Yeah.
Because you're like, what could that possibly say? This is like only like the second time we've seen this guy.
Yeah.
What could he possibly be upset about?
All right.
All right. Well, I think we can get a wrap up this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, go if you have not seen it and you've listened to us tell the entire story of it and talk about it, and you haven't still
Yeah,
seen
this was basically
Hard
us
Boiled,
just gushing over this film.
go watch it.
We might have saved John Woo some time doing this, like some sort of commentary.
Yeah.
Go
Just,
watch
like,
it.
Just this.
Yeah.
Go watch it.
Actually, that'd be kind of fun to do.
Commentary on John Woo films?
No, just like just put the podcast with the film.
See if it matches up in a way.
Yeah, be like, well, I don't know.
Jump
Yeah.
hospital.
Just do that
But
for
yeah.
Lord of the Rings or something.
Oh my God,
All of it.
That's so long.
Oh man, go watch it.
Yeah.
Like I said. Thank you, Roddy, for making us watch it.
Yay!
What you
proof.
enjoyed. Yeah.
New experiences.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so thank you all for listening or watching the podcast. As always, you can catch us every week with the video version on YouTube and the audio version on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, and Stitcher. And if you listen to podcasts anywhere else, please let us know, because we can start trying to put it out everywhere on all the other places that people listen to podcasts, so everyone can listen to it. If you want to get the podcast a week early before it goes out live on SoundCloud and YouTube, become a patron. And for $1, you can get every video that we make a week early before it comes out. And that's not just podcast stuff. That's also D&D stuff. That'll be future other things stuff. And get all that early. And also, it goes and supports us to try to improve and make other things. So we'd be much appreciated if you did that. And also, if you help support us on Patreon, you can get access to our after podcast special talk show thingy called Friendly Banter, where we just kind of talk about stuff. Just whatever it is. And if you become a patron, suggest things for us to talk about, and we'll do that. Or ask us questions, and we'll answer them. Because that'd be fun to interact. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. Of course, I've been Martin. This is Rick and Roddy. Yeah. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.